Hey everybody, welcome back to Birch Creek Homestead. So last couple of days we've had a couple of really cool things happen. First of which is we got our first 3 Dexters on the farm. There'll be a video about that as well. But the other thing is 2 nights ago, and I haven't had time to touch it yet, as you can see. It's still in a box, but this is our Harbor Freight Central Machinery brand sawmill that we got. We sprang for this sawmill. We just recently sold a camper that we weren't using and didn't need anymore. And we used some of those funds to purchase a sawmill finally. I have been wanting a sawmill for so long, and it was actually Jenny's idea. Why don't we use this money and get ourselves a sawmill finally? So here it is. I thought I'd do a video on the unboxing. Unfortunately, I am apparently video camera illiterate, and we have a new video camera that would be much better quality, and I don't know how to format it. So anyway, doing this on the phone with a really long cord on a microphone, so bear with me a little bit, but this is the unboxing of our Central Machinery sawmill. And the first thing I can see is this is really stout boxing. It's cardboard, of course. I actually thought it would come as wood crate, but even though it's cardboard, not only does it have our plastic banding, but it also has our steel angle iron all the way through. This is steel, steel, steel. That's all steel. So it's really stout, and there's not much damage shown on the box. Obviously something kind of crushed it a bit, but I'm not too worried about it being what it is. So let's see what it looks like when it's opened up. All right, I just want to show y'all real quick. I've got most of the stuff unboxed. Everything that touches other metal is wrapped in plastic, or yeah, that plastic foam stuff. So that's pretty nice. Boxes are numbered. That one's numbered 2. It does come with a manual. I was getting nervous. It's one of the last things I unboxed. Would not have wanted to do this without a manual, but it does come with one. Here's our rails. You know, this isn't a very long sawmill. You can buy extension kits for them, but I think it's 10 feet long to start, and those look about, to me, like 6 foot, or maybe a little bigger than 6 foot. But you can see they're pretty stout. I think the dimension is basically 1/4 inch, but it's a tiny bit beefier since it's metric. Some of this stuff's still in plastic, but don't worry about that engine. It doesn't have oil or anything in it yet. We're going to start setting up the carriage and the rails, and we'll see if we can piece this together. Yeah, we got about 2 hours of daylight, so we'll see how it goes. So I've got the sawmill out and most of the pieces on it. This is the rail, obviously. It's about 10 feet. I got a tape measure. I think it's almost exactly 10 feet. It has stoppers on every corner so that it can't roll off the rails. Pretty heavy duty box steel. Pretty heavy duty angle iron. We've got, I think it's a log dog. I'm not very good with terminology here. But anyway, got sets of them along the rail. Pretty decent sized bolts, about equivalent to 3/8, whatever the metric is for that. And as far as the sawmill head itself, I just installed the cables. They were very easy. I didn't even need the manual for that. I go straight down in here. Now, I'm not a big fan of this. They just welded this to make it an eye bolt, but they could have used an eye bolt with a carabiner instead of welding a carabiner to it. It's kind of weird. Or it's not a carabiner, but you get the idea. Anyway, they could have done it different, but looks like it'll hold. Everything else looks pretty stout though. Predator engine, 301cc. I think that's around 8 horsepower. But I'm going to go ahead and line the rail up, get it level-ish, get it side to side as straight as I can, and then I'm gonna set the carriage on. We're losing daylight, so that might be tomorrow. This is gonna look good. Look at that. Nice and straight. The cut looks good. Pretty cool. So, the proper way is not to do it like this. It's actually to lift it up a little bit and then move it back so our band doesn't get stuck. I'm just gonna be careful. So I'm going to go down a little bit and make another pass. You can see that you've got from where this is to the top here, we've got less than 3 inches. So I'm going to go down about 1.5 inches and see if I can grab this part too.
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing. On the other side.
Yes.
Okay, so I just got done sawing that first log, and I want to talk about some of the features of this sawmill that I like and some that I don't like so much. So let's take a look. All right, so as I mentioned, maybe I didn't mention it, we have pretty stout angle iron on our rails. It was a little bit difficult to level out, but it wasn't the end of the world. Our seams right here, where our first piece and our second piece meet, there's a seam, and this is probably my doing, and I just didn't maybe do it 100% right, but there's just tiniest little lip right here, and it's making the sawmill try to stop right here. So I need to raise this lip, or this piece, just a hair. It's not doing it on the other side. I must have it just a little bit better over there, but it's not terrible. That's probably more or less on me. The push bar, where you actually push it, let's see if I can show you here, doesn't have a snug fit. I don't like that. These bolts are as tight as I can really realistically make it, but it's putting a square tube onto round stock, so it's not going to be, you know, perfect fit. And I wish they would have put, so this on the right hand side we have round stock, on the left hand side we have box stock. I wish they would have swapped it so that this push bar can be on box stock. Let's see what else. The jug of water is super rudimentary, works well. Right now, I've heard a lot of people say they don't like the jug and they're trash and throw it away and get something else, but I don't know. I've only ran one log through it, but I'm going to keep that jug until it doesn't work anymore. The pulley system you're seeing right behind it works really well. It's nice and smooth. This is the carriage where it goes up and down. And again, you can see where our height is, and you can set it wherever your top of your log is. Set that at, oop, I'm actually pretty high or pretty low right now, but you're not gonna run a log this low anyway. But you set it where your log is, and you set that at 0, and then you'll know where you need to start, so you can make dimensional lumber from that point. The Predator engine, don't think I got it on video, but it took me 3 pulls to start it for its first try. And the first pull, I forgot that I had the idle all the way down. So, I mean, either way, if you want to call it 2 pulls or 3 pulls, it was extremely easy to start. And I've had experience with other Predator engines. They're all like that. They're all super reliable. I've actually never had a Predator engine stop working on me. So they're China built, but they are workhorses in my opinion. The caster system, a lot of people complain about sawdust getting gummed up, and you can see sawdust is getting gummed up here. I don't really know how to fix that, or if it's necessarily the fault of Harbor Freights, or I mean Central Machinery, but they do recommend like brushing it off, brushing the rail, brushing the casters after every log. The band itself, a lot of reviews said it would be wavy, so it would cut wavy, or it would shake a little bit on you. I found that whenever I got this, it had tension already on it, and the alignment was good, but the tension was too tight. So the manual calls for 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch, or whatever you want to say, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of deflection. That's just if you push down on the blade, it should give just a little bit. Might be hard to even see that on camera, but it's pretty close to 1/4 inch deflection. It pretty much had no deflection when I got it, so I actually had to loosen it up a little bit. The throttle control works really well. It's a thumb style, but instead of being spring loaded, it clicks into place and it stays where you want it to be, so you don't have to play with the throttle while it's running. And then it's really smooth. Let's see, what else is there to know about this thing? It takes a quart of oil, 10W30, straight gasoline, and this thing cuts really well. Let's take a look at this lumber real quick. Now, this is my first time ever cutting lumber on a sawmill, and you can see looks pretty good. I was cutting 1.5 inches by whatever the width was. I'm not even sure. Didn't matter to me. I'm going to use it for structural stuff. But it looks really, really good all the way through. And got a nice little pile. Let's see if we can count this. So dimensional lumber got off of it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. There's also some live edge stuff on there too. I think maybe 3 pieces of live edge. So, and it's sitting on old lumber, so it might look like a bigger pile than that even, but it's really not too bad of a pile considering that log was maybe 12 inches diameter. And yeah, it wasn't a big log. I probably could have picked the whole log up by myself. You know, it's just, there wasn't much to it, but it cut it really well. It was a good first test. I love the look of cedar. Looks awesome. So anyway, that's the sawmill. Hopefully there's a bunch of projects we can start showing in the future that that's going to be helping us out with. Hopefully it cuts the cost down to next to nothing on our lumber bill. But thanks for tuning in. Catch you on the next one. God bless.